Bluetooth mode.
Tunes like Bill
Oh, come on, go. I like it. Facebook, I got copyright to these other songs, Facebook. These are my sons. Just a sample. I got a real recording coming next week. Oh boy, what a country we have.
The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS's Community Court of Justice, has ordered the Liberian government to reinstate former Supreme Court Justice Kabina Jane and pay him $200,000 as reparation for what the court calls moral prejudice suffered in the violation of his rights.
Moral prejudice.
Justice Jane was impeached in March 2019 for granting a writ of prohibition petition brought by petroleum dealers in Liberia to stop the government from collecting a 25-cent.
We are almost at 3 o'clock time, Mike, and we'll get started here, inshallah.
The full bench of the Supreme Court. ECOWAS Court President Edward Mwako Asante says Associate Justice Jane was denied a fair hearing and his dignity as a Supreme Court Justice.
The conclusion is that the judge was unjustly or wrongfully removed by impeachment from the Supreme Court of Justice. True to our word, the pleadings from the Republic of Liberia actually even stated somewhere that it was a political decision and therefore the court shouldn't have jurisdiction to override their political decision. Reading political meanings into it, we didn't want this kind of impunity to happen for politicians to have a way, because the position of judges should be insulated all the time, such that politicians should not have the penchant of removing them at any time.
This is Jana. It's right. The government is wrong.
By far better than the past interest of everyone.
Where is this?
So on this note, tools like bystanders.
Bring back our money.
Yeah, bring it. Yeah, bring it back. Bring it. We are cutting up. We are cutting up. Yeah, we are cutting up. Yeah, we are cutting up. We are cutting up. Yeah, we are cutting up. We are cutting up. Yeah, we are cutting up. We are cutting up. We are cutting up. Yeah, we are cutting up. Yeah, we are cutting up. We are cutting up.
Started pretty soon here. We'll be starting soon, very soon. Oh, that dog for the Makoula done, you know, man, I thought that I ain't done what you got. All right, so good afternoon to each and every one of you. I want to take this time to welcome all of you to the Liberian Diaspora Forum. So let's turn off this music now. So I think we find a pretty good short listening moment. Sometimes I feel like having show just to play music. I got so many old music from the good old days. But I can imagine, I see Brother Musa Sharif here, I know he got stock of it, giving what he does for our community. The most renowned cameraman in the entire Liberia Mandingo community. So sometimes when I'm stuck with music or issues, he's my fallback guy. So I can imagine he's got a lot more than I can ever imagine. But yeah, those were good old days. That song was recorded for former President Sekou Kenen's inauguration, but it includes the vast majority of us. Because it was a majority decision then. It was a united, much more promising organization then. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. So happy Independence Day to all of you. Today is America's Independence Day, July 4th. And this country is a home to many of us away from home, especially those of us who live here. This country has given some of us something that our own motherland, our countries of birth could not have given us. Some of us, our country had given up on us, and so we came over here for a greater prosperity. And are we having a prosperity? And we. So without further delay, please allow me. You know that I'm so big on the Liberian National Anthem, and I played this for everybody. So just because I don't have a studio guest today, which I chose to do anyway, just deliberately, but on purpose, because I do want to talk about these two subjects a little bit today, but that doesn't mean I can't now play the national anthem even for myself or just for me being in studio by myself. I think it's a great way to start the show, and so here's the national. All right. Now, thank you. That was the Liberian National Anthem, and good afternoon to you. Good morning to you. Good day to you. As a matter of fact, good night to you, depending wherever you may be joining us now or later. Whatever time that will be at your end, we want to give you a respectful greeting in keeping with the time of your area. So good morning to you, good afternoon to you, good day to you, and good night to you. Obviously, if you are here, if you're gonna be coming here, I presume I really do not need to introduce myself as far as this platform goes. But for the purpose of a beautiful introduction, well, this is me, Kafumba Kroma, your humble host for the Liberian Diaspora Forum since 2011. We have transitioned from a mere teleconference to now, quote unquote, what some young folks refer to as modern platform. In my opinion, this is completely different from the radio. This is more of a television setting versus what we are accustomed to, the TV or the radio, which is purely audio, not without visual. So, but this is the way. We have to keep up with technology. We have to go along with technology. As the world continues to be revolutionized, and so we must follow trend. All right. And so today, if you read my post when I scheduled this show, I have two things to talk about with you. I want us to talk about two issues mainly, and of course, I do have some good announcements from some folks who have asked me to promote their events. We'll get to those shortly here. So, but the two things rather I want to talk about. One has to do with a very tragic motor accident that allegedly occurred sometimes last week in Guinea Embassy in Monrovia. Now, please hear me out. When I say Guinea Embassy, I don't mean Guinea official embassy in Cinco, no. But as you very well know, as some of you know, because I don't think everyone knows this, our fellow compatriots, known Mandingo Liberians, often refer to Jacobstown, St. Francis area as Guinea Embassy. All right, because it happens to be the single most heavily concentrated Mandingo settlement in Montserrado County today. I think pretty soon Jacobstown, St. Francis Jacobstown will be competing with Johnsonville, because a lot of Mandingo people are moving to Johnsonville as well. But until then, St. Francis, Chicken Farm, Jacobstown, that little vicinity, that little area, is home to the vast majority of our people in one single area. I'm not saying the Mandingo people that are more than the Mandingo people in the rest of Montserrado or Liberia, but to see, it's like, to see so many of them together in the little area, that would be St. Francis. And so that's why cab drivers in Liberia, as well as many other folks, frequently refer to Jacobstown, St. Francis, Chicken Farm, that whole area as Guinea Embassy, jokingly, by the way, if I might add. And so the accident that I want to talk about allegedly occurred around that area. All right, and this accident. Now, so I will be talking about that accident, and inshallah, immediately when we exhaust that, I will transition to our prevailing issues here, our federation, FELMAUSA, which I suspect many of you have come to hear, many of you would like to hear. It has become some sort of taboo now. One talk show host told me yesterday that he really wants to talk about it, but every time he tries, there's so much pressure as to what he can or cannot say. He's worried about offending people. He's worried about him being subjected to insult and public ridicule and whatnot. All right. So, but that's not me. You know me, right? If I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to talk about it. Maybe for reasons best known to myself, or maybe because the issue hasn't piqued my interest yet. But I have no fear. I've said this times without number. Look at my head. It's so big, it really can't fit in anybody's mouth. I realize when we have conversation, when we discuss substantive issue, you have some non-entity, non-scores, people without credential, people without morals, we come and insult at people who discuss substantive issues. That's okay. We will discuss the substance and they can read the insult. We will discuss substance and they can come and display their, immorality, display their, arrogance, display their, lack of discipline, and so why not? So that doesn't worry me a bit, because I've said I'm over 40 years old. And so because I'm over 40 years old, I want to believe that there's absolutely nothing wrong with me. There's nothing in my life that I do not already know. So nobody can surprise me as far as discussing me, about me or to me or whatever. So it's all a fair game. And I have said there's been time when I have humiliated people on my platform. Not the way it's been done today, but I've questioned people, intellect, for instance. I've questioned people leadership skill. I've debated issues. That's how we do ours. That's substantive. That's intellectual. But when you have folks who don't have that capacity, they don't have the capability, they have no education, no training, they lack good moral outbringing. And so you can imagine they can only do what they know best. I remember this when we used to do defense tactics, right? And let me turn this thing up before the barrier down. When I went to law enforcement school, in our defensive tactics, to today's day, when you go to any defensive self-defense tactics class, or when you go to training, physical tackle training, they will train you so many different styles, but even the trainers will be inclined to say that, look, at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, you will always you'll go back to what you know best. So forget all that fancy technique, Bruce Lee, position styles. You will go back to the way you learn how to fight when you were a child. So forget all the training. When it comes to life and death matter, you do whatever you can do to survive. And so that's what those people do. They don't have anything to offer other than what they grew up doing, insulting people, their biology, their family, their jobs, that's about it. And that's all faction, folks. And it doesn't bother me. Absolutely not. So, I can imagine some of you wondering, well, if it doesn't bother you, why are you talking about it? I just want you to know, because I have never spoken on this subject before. Maybe I should take time up someday to speak on this, just on this subject, but I haven't. I probably would not, because I have better things to do, but maybe this is my only chance to make a brief stop, just brushing off that subject. Hello, be my guest, right? You are welcome in retaliation to whatever is said on this platform, now or later, before, now or later. Be my guest, react however, it pleases you, just do it. It's an invitation, go for it. So we'll talk about the accident, the tragic motor accident, and then we'll come back and talk about FELMAUSA. And by the way, don't forget, we'll also talk about the pageantry, the big beauty pageant, the Bazan display. The New de Bazan. It's amazing how a selfish Liberian Mandingos who coined their organization to be Liberian Mandingo Association, Federation of FELMAUSA, Federation of Liberians, an organization that embedded Liberians in her name to ensure that other people were not included, will go to emulate, things like Nous de Bazin, which is a French thing, right? Nous, right? You know what that means, right? So, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. We'll get to that. Let's discuss this accident first. So that's where we are. If you are here, that's why I've invited you to come and listen to me, so that together we can have conversation about these very, 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 important subjects, in my opinion. It may not be important to you, in your opinion rather, but it is important to me. It is important in my opinion. And so that's why, hold on. So that's why I've come to talk about it, and I will do so in due course here. I intend to do the subject justice. I want to address it fairly, depending. Of course, mind you, fair is relative, right? It depends. It depends what fair means to you. If fair means to you, if you can spell fair, starting with capital F versus somebody who starts it with a small f, then I'm afraid you might have two definitions. But we'll speak today as we see fit. So, you'll be more than welcome to make your own analysis. There are no shortages of talk shows in our society now and then, in our community to be specific. And so go ahead. So that being, those being out of the way, so let's go to this issue now. I am told this tragic motor accident happened last week. Was it Tuesday? I'm told. Now, this is a quick disclaimer here. I may not have all of the information correct because I've been talking, I've been digging and digging. First, I got just a little bit of it, and I tried to dig a little more, and I made some effort to reach to some family, friends of family, to get to the bottom of it. So I've gotten sufficient information, but not complete. I'm sure there's still gaps within the story, but the bottom line is the aspects of it that I intend to address. When I put that to you, you tell me if that's not worth being addressed. So I just want to speak to certain elements. When you think about it, accidents happen all of the times, everywhere in the world, especially in Liberia, Guinea, the Damana River, that area where they got more motorbikes than Himobi now, where they have more bikes than the vehicles. So clearly, motorbikes accident is very common. Bikes are killing people, Everybody knows that. That's an open secret. If you ever travel to Africa recently, Liberia, Guinea, in the Zirikore area, you know that bikes are killing people. And back in the day, it used to be that the bike, when you ride a bike, there were so many new learners, new people who have become bike pimping riders. They want to make a living, and they learn how to ride bike overnight, and they start to transport people, and then they'll go throw you down, dump you, and then you get hurt. Sometimes you even die, as a result. That used to be the first old-fashioned way of hurting people, of killing people. So a lot of people started boycotting motorbike. So in fact, people started advising their folks not to ride bike. Motorbike, you see, motorcar, don't ride a bike. It's dangerous. It's risky. Wait for us. We'll give you a ride. We'll pick you up. That became almost, a remedy to that portion of it. Then there came a time, or let me say, then now, it's gone beyond that. Whether or not you ride a bike or not, they will hurt you. You can be crossing the street, they will come and just hit you. Sometimes you don't even have to be on the street. On the sidewalks in Monrovia, Zirikore, these people, these so-called pimping riders will leave the road, and I don't know. I'm not sure what kind of drugs they're on. And by the way, I'm not insinuating. I'm not trying to make the case that he who hit this lady is on drugs, because when it happens to be an elderly person, we'll get to that a little bit here, but I'm not suggesting all of them are on drugs. Well, I don't understand how somebody will be riding bikes and then you leave the paved road and completely off the road and go on the sidewalk and go and hit somebody with a bike, cripple them, hurt them seriously, or in some instances even kill them, like it happened to this lady, this pregnant lady and her unborn child, who have gone to the grave beyond today as a result of some negligence. I know we are as Mandingo people, with the vast majority of us are Muslims, right? So we are quick to point to Allah. It was her time. It was their time. That's how God meant it to be. I get it, and I agree. I don't intend to pick up any debate with our Black Arabs. So I don't intend to differ with them. It was her time. No one dies before his or her time. But notwithstanding, so now the bike thing, you don't have to ride it anymore. So if by you not riding bike no longer means that you are safe from motorbike accident. Look at former District 2 representative motorbike situation, Brother Sekou Akane. He wasn't riding bike. For God's sake, why would Sekou Akane ride motorbikes? Right? Why would he ride a bike? He got multiple vehicles, why would he? He was just standing on the sidewalk, not even on the road. He wasn't crossing. He was standing on the sidewalk when the bike came and just ran into him and nearly crippled him. It wasn't until very recently, just probably a few months ago, that he's managing to walk without crutches. He's walking by himself now. A bike did that. My own aunt in Zirikore, coming from the mosque early morning, just trying to cross the street. A motorbike coming down. This guy deliberately turned off his bike, according to the story. He was trying to save gas. More fatiguing, right? I think those of you who been there know more. How do you come down on that hill? You turn off the lights because you turn off the engine because you want to save gas. And then my aunt was crossing at the bottom of the of the hill, and he just came and just flipped the lady over. And what's worse, he got nothing to offer. Not even paracetamol he can afford to buy for her. All he has is Jaffaman. Excuse me, please forgive us. When the bike was seized, when they seized the motorbike from this dude and brought it to the house, by daylight, by daybreak, the oil dripping, the oil leaking from the motorbike has contaminated the whole living room. They were quick to call him for a bike. Can you imagine being hurt by somebody like that? Not to mention being killed by somebody like that. What do you get out of it? So the motorbike thing, I don't understand the wisdom behind, the we-led government, taking off some of the restrictions that the previous Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government of Liberia, through our brother Ibrahim Khalilu Nkrumah, then 102 at the police, they had put several restrictions in place in order to keep these bike so-called pimping riders in check. They were not allowed to go certain places. They were restricted to community roads, and they were not allowed to carry a certain number of passengers. There were so many restrictions in place. Now, I'm not saying those were entirely preventative, preventative measure, but somehow, it kind of curtailed not just motorbike accident, but even armed robbery. Because motorbikes, everybody knows in Liberia now it's almost an open secret. Patrick Sudu, the current police director, will tell you, bikes are the most effective getaway tools for armed robbers in Liberia. Motorbikes, right? So, but I just want you to understand that the whole bike situation now, it is becoming very, very dangerous, in our countries of birth. Liberia specifically that I want to speak to. So it doesn't matter whether you have a fancy car, you don't ride bike, you ride bike, it's still a threat to you. The other story about them is that if you own a car, you drive a car, every vehicle owner also knows that in Liberia, if you were to hit a pepper rider by accident, pure accident, and unless you get lucky, to get out of there, or maybe, someone's on help, including some, better police officer, it's not uncommon for the folks to burn your vehicle. They are so envious, so selfish, envious, and mean. They will look at your hard-earned, dollars, your very expensive vehicle, and just set it ablaze because you hate, a pepper rider, or sometimes they even hate you, and because they are so envious, they will go ahead and just cause a damage that they can never, pay for. That's the story. That's the story behind motorbike thing. It is dangerous. It is dangerous. We used to think when I used to travel to Liberia, I'm like, why would I worry about bike? I don't ride bike. I got my car. But it doesn't matter anymore, folks. You can be crossing the street, the bike will come and pick you up. They will hit you. You can be walking on the sidewalk, far from the street as you want. On a bad day, maybe we Muslim people would say for predestined to happen, these idiots under the influence of some drugs will come and just run into you. They will. They happy to say, so has it been with so many other people. So that brings us to this specific story of this pregnant woman that I want to talk about here. I haven't gotten all of the details. I don't know if I've said that enough. And so forgive me if I'm off, with some of the details, because chances are the fact that there are a good number of you here now, and I want to say hi to Brother Mazu Nkrumah, my big brother in Liberia. I think he's in Ghana right now. Thank you, Brother Nkrumah, for following your late brother all the time. So, but if you are in Liberia, and especially in the Jakarta area, you got more information than I'm going to provide you. Please do us a favor. Call the show, correct me if I'm wrong or fill in the gaps, let's put the complete story out there for our viewers, right? So this sometime last week, it is stated that this pregnant woman, whom we've come to identify as Makoula, right? One Makoula, as I want to say Makoula Komara. Now Komara was now I'm not sure that was a biological last name, but the fact that we have identified the husband to be one Lai Komara, so I'm using the husband last name as our last name as well. You can understand that. So I'm told it is reported that this lady, this Makoula Komara, left her home or her residence to go on the road to go buy something. I'm told somebody said mosquito cup, somebody said something she wanted to buy, right? She left her home. And this happened, I'm told this happened approximately between 7, 8, 9, around that time, when it wasn't late, but at the same time it wasn't very clear, it wasn't too laid out, it was a little dark, not terribly dark, not late, So the lady took a stroke, and mind you, she's pregnant, right? I've told you this. She was in her 9 months, I'm told. She was due, this month, this July? She was in this July or last month, June. She was in her 9 months, we are told. So this pregnant woman left. I want to believe too, whatever she might have gone to acquire, it wasn't just about that thing, but it was part of her it had to be part of a routine, part of exercise. As a pregnant woman taking a little walk. Because you have to wonder, you can't help to wonder. I can't help but wonder, why did she send a little child? Why did somebody else go do this? Why a 9 months old pregnant lady must be the one to go? So why? There's too many whys, right? But so the only logical conclusion that I came up by myself was that maybe she wanted to stretch her leg. She wanted to exercise. That's not uncommon, right? A lot of pregnant, even when you go to the hospitals here, and I'm sure there in Liberia too, doctors will tell you need to do a little exercise, right? Walk around, not sit too much. Don't, to do a little exercise, take a little walk. It had to be something of that nature. So this lady left, and she went, and I don't know whether she made it there. It had to be on her way back. My sources told me, right? So on her way back, this motorbike just came from nowhere out of the blue and just came and flipped this lady over, just like it was done with my aunt in Zirikore. Flipped the lady over, right? And what's worse is that the rider, the man who was riding the bike, stopped briefly, looked around, and took off. Allegedly took off. I want to include allegedly as much as possible, since I wasn't present. This is all second, third, hands account, so witnesses and stuff like that. And I know, firsthand, I know how terrible, how wrong some witnesses can be, even in serious criminal matters. So I want to say allegedly. So allegedly, this motorbike rider looked around, so stopped briefly, looked around, and saw this pregnant woman helplessly on the ground, with bleeding for that matter, and took off. And it would be a while before somebody found this woman dying on the road. So I'm told that this woman was lying on the ground there for a couple of minutes, significant couple of minutes, maybe nearing almost 10, 15, 20. Now understand that if you are in serious condition, every minute counts. Every minute counts. I've been there. I was just hospitalized sometime last year, my brother. Many of you, my folks here in Minnesota, know about that. I know how painful, if you are in pain, if you are hurting. I know how every second count, let alone minutes. So we are told this lady was lying there for several minutes, to the point where her family people, somebody from her residence, thought why she hasn't returned. She been gone for a while. After all, where she went is really not that far from here. That's how she was found, I'm told. And so somebody left and went to look after her. Ho behold, they met this helpless woman lying in the pool of blood at the scene. They quickly screamed for help, and other people came around, and they managed to get this lady in a vehicle to go get her help. Now, this is where it gets interesting. These are the parts that really pique my interest to even talk about this. So when this lady was put on a vehicle to go find help for her, it is my understanding that the first place that they approached, since this happened in the Jakarta St. Francis area, they drove to Moscow. You know Moscow, right? Right at New Hope Junction. This is the so-called medical clinic established by one to be representative for District 2, our brother Musa Sharif. That's his name, Musa Sharif, Moscow, right? So he owns that clinic. I've been to that clinic. I found someone who's gone through operation there, and I visited there many, many times. I've been there. In fact, when I was in Liberia just this very last time, I was in the compound there because the radio station that he just opened is also office right in that same hospital compound. So both the radio station and the so-called clinic, they're together in that compound. So I was there even this very last time, right? So the story information has it that they took this lady. That was the first place. Logically, it makes sense because that was the closest healthcare facility, the closest treatment center that they could think of. Not only because it's their own, it's their community, healthcare center, but also is the closest one. Not to mention it's owned by one of their own. So they quickly rushed the lady to Moscow, and information has it that they rejected her on grounds that they were not equipped enough to deal with the situation. Makes sense. You can't blame them. Totally makes sense. I mean, unless to a point, which I will get to a little bit here, but it's not uncommon for hospitals, even in the US, to look at you to say, oh, you have to go to this hospital. They have specialty, you have to, hospitals will refer you to different hospital, different treatment facilities based on your need. So if Moscow rejected this lady, if they did, hear me out, conditional, I'm told, I wasn't there, but reliable information has it, they turned her away on grounds that they were not equipped to deal with the situation. They turned her away. So they took up the convoy, the vehicle took off with the lady. The next stop was at Banavie Junction. I don't know, is it MSF Hospital, Banavie Junction right there? But those of you in Monrovia or who were there recently know what I'm talking about. In fact, that MSF, is it MSF or MSF, that hospital, that building, the building, Losoni Kamara House, right? The Losoni Kamara upstairs building that's been rented and used by MSF clinic there, right at the Banavie, the junction area there. That was the next stop with this lady. Meanwhile, all these stops that they're making, this lady is dying slowly. She's dying slowly. So they brought her to the next stop, and they got there, and just like Moscow, they too turned her away. But come on now, this lady is 9 months pregnant, and she just got hit by a very speedy motorbike. She's hurting. She's bloody. What kind of medical professionals in good conscience would turn away how long can somebody be turned away? And then again, she was turned away from that medical facility. I'm told she was allegedly turned away from there. And so the family made a decision to say, you know what? Let's not try for another private facility. Let's not go to another. Let's just go to the government-owned medical facility. Let's go to the most, talk about notorious, I don't want to say famous. Let's go to the notorious John F. Kennedy Medical Center, JFK, right? JFK Hospital Cinco. Let's go to JFK. I don't think nobody can turn us away from there. That's not privately owned. That's owned by government. That's our tax dollars. We are taxpayers. We are Liberians. This is owned by the government. This is public facility. Nobody there. Like people will say, Liberia is the only country we can be deported from. So in their mind, JFK was the only hospital where they could not be rejected from. And so they took a long drive. They drove there. To their surprise, when they got to JFK, Liberia is an interesting country, folks. Just like Moscow and MSF, JFK too turned them down. They did. Allegedly. They turned them down. Their excuse, they had no bed. Hospital is full to capacity. So Moscow turned them down because the situation was beyond and above, it was not, there wasn't much they could do for her. Which, if true, I can reason with. I don't know what was MSF excuse. I don't know what they said as far as turning her away. But JFK rejected them on grounds that they didn't have bed. They were full to capacity. Who knows? Will cover patients? I don't know. But they simply told them they didn't have bed. They could not accommodate them. Story has it, they became hopeless. They didn't even know where to go. Where would you go else? If it was you, where would you go? I wouldn't know where to go next. If private hospitals turned me down, you wanted them to go to Catholic Hospital? Go to ERWA Hospital? Of course, I don't know. But even maybe, arguably, somebody can say, of course, they could have tried. But the question is, how long can you try with somebody in that situation? More besides, when you get rejected certain time by certain institution, it kind of takes you off balance. You will lose your thoughts, your sense of reasoning. I think that's what might have happened to Brother Lai Komara and his wife. So what did they do? They remain in JFK hopelessly as they plead with the people to pay, as they continue to explain this woman's situation. As if to say her condition needed any explaining. You see the woman before your eyes. She's pregnant. She's in blood. She's hurting. What else needs to be explained? Well, I am told Lord Lai Komara was there with his wife in his arms. And as they tried to make their case to say, please attend to this woman. Please attend to this woman. We don't know where else to go. We might not make it there. She might not make it there alive. Please and please and please. My sources tell me that woman, long story short, ended up dying. And her child too, I'm told, because we'll get to how they confirm that. She ended up dying in her husband's arm in the compounds of JFK, John F. Kennedy Medical Center in Liberia. The woman ended up dying in his arm. Oh, wow. What a country we have. The woman died with her unborn child. So when they told me the woman died with her unborn child, I said, wait a minute. How was that established? How did you know that this woman died with an unborn child? How was it? Now it's easier to know if the woman died, right? Because people can check the pulse and all that. But how were they able to determine that the fetus, the infant, the child in her womb, in her stomach, also died along with her? They say, some doctors came and checked and they confirmed that they were both dead. So I said, whoa, this is really interesting. So doctors had time to come and confirm the death of the mother and her unborn child. But these same doctors did not. These same doctors, the doctors did not have time to come and turn to her, and turn to her wound, and turn to her injury, and turn to her situation. But they had time to come and confirm her death and her unborn child's death. Seriously, what does that tell you? What kind of country are we got? If this is true, I want to continue to say if this is true, because I hate to speak as if to say I was there. I was never there. So if any of this is offline, well, then blame me and I'll blame my sources, right? But I'm told immediately when this woman passed, other bystanders, onlookers, including securities, they all began alarm. And that's when some of these so-called medical practitioners came outside to examine this lady and confirm that she was dead, as well as the infant in her body. When I first heard this story, I told the people, I said, do you mind? We can start a fundraising and sue JFK. We can sue the hospital. They said, that government hospital. So what? Who said government hospital can be sued? Government agencies get sued here all of the time. That was my first take. That was my initial inclination. I'm like, you know what? We got to sue the hospital if this happened the way it is narrated to me. But you know, Mandingo people, Muslim people, they'll say, "Oh, our time. Let's leave it with God. God time." Now, let me mention one quick thing about this story here. When I scheduled this show, the write-up that I posted for if you saw it, where I mentioned a Mandingo Muslim woman was denied admission to various healthcare facilities. I found some people come after me for that. Some of my friends, non-Mandingo friends especially, wanting to know what I was making the case that the woman was rejected because she's a Mandingo. No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't think her tribe or religion had anything to do with being rejected. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. But I have to mention that because that is the fact. She was a Mandingo woman, Makoula, or Komara, using her husband's last name for her, Makoula Komara, and she was a Muslim woman. That's what I'm saying it just for as a fact, not as a way, not as an indication that she was rejected based on tribalism. No, that's not what I'm saying. As a matter of fact, I'm a living witness to so many Liberians, Mandingo and non-Mandingo alike, be turned away from various hospitals in Liberia. I'm a living witness to that. Now, I didn't talk about those. I wouldn't talk about it because I've yet to see someone being rejected in the kind of condition that Makoula Komara was in. Pregnant, 9 months pregnant, seriously wounded by the bike, in blood, in pain. How do you tell somebody like that you don't have bed? Now, I don't work in healthcare. I've never worked a day in healthcare. But please, my people, if you are on this line and you are a healthcare professional, by all means, please be my guest. Please give me a call and give me justification for that. Because I have said that, look, as far as hospital rooms, I know there are some, here in the West or even in Liberia, there are specific instruments that are, installed in many hospital rooms that can be used for, the patient. But I also know that many of those materials can be moved on wheel around the hospitals. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that, in other words, any place in the hospital facility can be used as a treatment center if the doctors wanted to. Even a bathroom, a restroom in the hospital can be used as a treatment room if the management of the hospital felt the need to not reject somebody, but to rather treat them based on the severity of their situation. The hallway, long hallway, they got IV poles they can bring around. They can administer a whole lot of drugs. The point is, if you reject somebody, where do they go? Aren't they better off with you who have the knowledge, the skill, the training to help them, than simply just looking them in the eyes to say, no, we can't take you? This is not rocket science. It's common logic. So my people, I thought this was outrageously bad. This is a sad moment for for our country. If this happened the way it did, this is bad. Now, here's the other side of it. So I said, well, was this bike rider apprehended? Was any arrest made? Were they able to find out who this bike rider? Not only did they cause were they in accident, but they also flee the scene of an accident. That's a serious crime. Serious crime. Leaving the scene of an accident without being properly, addressed. You can't hit somebody, just take off. That's a serious crime. So I kind of shifted my blame to the fact that, so what happened after? Was this bike pimping rider? Did the police contacted? Did they make any effort? Did they make any arrest? And you'll be surprised to hear the answers I got to that. It turned out that Makoula Komara was actually hit by one Mandingo Ome, one papi, one Mandingo Ome. Now, I got his name, I got his full name and everything, but the conversation I had with the people who provided me the information, they really pleaded with me not to mention his name, and I made a commitment that I wouldn't do so. We can discuss him, but we're not. I made a promise that we'll not mention his name. But this lady was hit by one Mandingo Ome, papi. Now he saw the woman pregnant. He hit the pregnant woman and he took off. But to his credit, much to his credit though, I mean, you got to give him credit. Said nobody was there, nobody saw him. It would have been difficult to even find out whether he did it. So he brought himself to report that he did it. So we can give him credit for that. We can chastise him for leaving the scene, but we can also give him credit for eventually reporting himself as being the one who caused it, the havoc. So I'm told he subsequently investigated, but then the lady was dead and came to the funeral, came to the family residence. I'm told he came with some money, some cash, with some rice. Thankfully, the family rejected both. The family rejected the rice and the money. They told him, this is not money matter. This is not about rice. They're not rice thing here. We know La Brempole rice. But this is not rice business. They're not rice thing here. They're not money thing here. All you needed to do, oh man, no, I'm just adding this to it. You needed to have rendered aid. You needed to have stopped and get off that damn bike and render aid. Call for help. That's the least you can do when it comes to aid. If you can't administer CPR or you can't do nothing, call for help. Create awareness so maybe those who know can come around. That's why he failed to do. He failed to administer aid, only to show up at the lady's funeral. So that is the story, folks. This lady met her timely death along with her unborn child sometime last week as a result of this pure diabolical negligence by one of our own men, one of our own old men. All right. So I'm told the husband named Lai Komara, I'm told, and I'm even told that they had the funeral somewhere around my former boss, FKK. Everybody know FKK house, behind FKK house area there. So I'm told there's a compound around there that way, they had this thing. So if you are in Monrovia, please do some fact finding. My numbers. Please call me if there's more to be said about this story or if there's some to be taken. I'll be glad to do so. But to the best of my knowledge, that is your story. That is the story for this this stuff that I just that I really wanted to talk about. I needed to get this off my chest. Now I've got some family members, friends of the family had promised that I could invite them on the show. They wanted to come and speak to the issue. One of them became very, very quickly emotional as we talk about it. So I knew right away she wasn't going to come. And by the way, the husband is traveled to Guinea, I'm told, traveled to Zirikore. There are some people who had left their busy schedule to come. And so the husband, since there were many, right, instead of paying their transportation, I'm told the husband chose to just transport them, bring them over. So the husband is not in town. And so it's not very likely that I'm going to have any of my sources coming to speak to this issue, as I had indicated in my post, based on what they had indicated to me. So, but that is the story. Even if they came, they told me this is all they told me, and I don't think they'll be telling you anything more than this as far as they know. I still wish they will come and talk, because then it will be from our witness account. All right. So for me, my information is third party, second party. I wasn't there. They were in it. So obviously they will speak with a lot more authoritative than I can ever imagine on this subject. But on that note, permit me to leave this one there. In fact, I think I did well because I got 2-hour show and we just exhausted this first part of our show exactly in 1 hour time, which I really wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that we do this 1 hour, and then the rest of the hour we can spend that on our favorite topic, FELMAUSA. FELMAUSA and the biggest Mandingo pageantry that took place in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia last week. Now, when I say biggest, please don't get me wrong. I'm saying biggest not in comparison to any other event. I wouldn't even say so. Look, I'm just saying the biggest since COVID. Does that make sense? People just beginning to gather again, to reassemble, to go outdoor and have events. So since COVID vaccine, since COVID restrictions started getting lifted, I think what we saw in Philadelphia last week, you have to admit it was the biggest Mandingo gathering, no doubt, pageantry. But I told you it was not a FELMAUSA sanction event, and that's what we're going to dive into here. Let's take a quick break. I'm going to get a sip of water. Please don't go. Stay here, and so we can discuss the FELMAUSA event as we see fit, and then we'll call it a night. And then we got a couple announcements here, some very good announcements here. Some concerning the FELMAUSA itself, and also next week's show, some concerning MMA, and some sister group in Philadelphia also sent us a flyer to help promote their show. So we'll make those announcements in due course, inshallah. So let's take a 2 minutes break, and I'll be back.
This country is not about education. It's about what the Nigerian people need. Our needs and wants. The leader that can provide all the best praise. Look at your homes. Look at your villages. You are living in huts. A book and English can develop country. Nigeria is supposed to be the best country in the world.
Their country is not about education.
IMF, World Bank, all other institutions, they make African countries jump through hoops. Loans will never be able to pay. The US, when they borrow money, they're getting it in 1.5, 1.9 interest rate. Africans, when they get the same amount of money, they're paying 9, 10%. The people who don't need a break, they get a break. The ones who need a break, they don't get a break. The sheer survival of the World Bank, IMF, is based on the fact that African countries and many other developing countries do not succeed. Their success is based on our failure. That has to change. And guess who can make that change? We, the children of Africa, we, the Africans, are the ones who have to say, we know your game now. Enough is enough. We're not playing it anymore. And this is where the diaspora come in. There are more Ghanaian doctors in New York City than in the entire country of Ghana. There are more Nigerian doctors in LA than in the entire country of Nigeria. So let's be serious here. What Africa needs is capacity, capacity, capacity. And that capacity is in the diaspora. So it behooves us to bring the diaspora together. Let them understand what is really going on in our Africa. Diaspora are not going home. Diaspora are angry about Africa because they are not understanding the root cause of why Africa is where it is today. They think getting rid of a president will take care of the problem. Far from it. That president is just going to be replaced by another one who is going to equally suffer from the same difficult environment to work in. So let's look at an Africa that must be free to take care of herself, an Africa that...
Let's talk about 104 million.
Liberia is a small country in West Africa, as you know, and like a lot of small countries, they print their money abroad and then they ship it into the country. It's just cheaper to do it that way. So at some point last year, the Central Bank of Liberia ordered up 16 billion Liberian dollars to be printed and shipped to Liberia. 16 billion Liberian dollars is about 104 million US dollars. So they put that money in canvas bags. They put it in 20-foot tall sealed containers. It entered Liberia. It cleared customs sometime late last year, earlier this year, and then it vanished. $104 million Poof.
Wow.
Now, when we're talking about U.S.-China trade, 104 million.
If you want to, in a sense, eliminate corruption in a society, and we all want to eliminate corruption in a society, the most effective way to do it is to make sure you don't punish people at the bottom, you punish people at the top. I'll tell you one story. In the 1960s, when Singapore was a very poor country then, our per capita income was 500. A government minister was invited by a businessman to go on holiday. Just on holiday. No bride. He and his family went on holiday with the businessman. He came back. He was arrested, charged, went to jail. After that, no more corruption. Because it's a very powerful signal that is sent when you go after someone at the top.
We're forgetting that we need each other. We're forgetting that we need to look out for each other. We're forgetting that except the least of us is taken care of, that the best of us cannot survive. We're forgetting that it's one world and it's a very small world. I've traveled across all the continents, and I can tell you, we need each other. It's such a small world that if we don't learn to love and respect ourselves and forget those things that we think are important but are actually unimportant, and if we do not have the courage to speak up when we should, then we set every one of us up for trouble. Take a child from every local environment in this world, no matter their tribe, the color of their skin, their language, or where they come from. Put them all in one room, and you would find them as a team, playing together, supporting each other, except you teach them otherwise. They will work together to solve every problem that you give to them. That's what we need to be. We need to go back to being children of the world again. We need to be a people who believe in love, in faith, in kindness, in caring for our neighbors in a way that together we can find the solution of the world. We need to understand that not a single one of us is an island to itself. That every...
All right, we are back. So we need, if we are forgetting that we know we need each other. I had to conclude my 2 minutes break with that. And I love how Singapore eliminated corruption. If you want to eliminate corruption, you don't punish people at the bottom. You punish people at the top. I love that. So I do want to take this time to welcome each and every one of you that are here now or that will be coming here later to watch this show. It's a pleasure, and I'm grateful to you for your time spent on LDF, to listening to us, to view us, for whatever reasons, whatever intent. We have to add that part to it, because not everyone that comes to the show comes to support the show. Some obviously come and listen for other reasons best known to themselves. That's fine too. It's a public show, public forum, it's a public show. So you use the show as you see fit. However it benefits you, we are happy to know that we could help to fulfill your life or part of your life somehow, some ways. So we now transition to FELMAUSA. The Federation of the Liberian Mandingos Associations in the US of A, FELMAUSA for short, is our largest, it is the largest Mandingo organization anywhere in the world, certainly in North America. And we know that like all other organizations, FELMAUSA hasn't been without her issues. If she didn't have issues, then I don't think it would be worth considering as an institution. Every institution, my people, whether it's the United Nations, ECOWAS, AU, you name it, they've all got issues to deal with at different times. There are emerging issues at different times. Our issue with this federation to date has to do with the fact that we have attempted having elections 2 times, but none of it was successful. The first was 2019, when we all gather in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, in the wisdom of our elders, they prevail on us after having reviewed and after having analyzed our activities. They saw it fit that we postpone the elections, and so we did. Interestingly, their request, their call for us to postpone the election came on the day of the election. That's important. Remember that, it's important. Now, I know some of you probably start to wonder, well, this is belated. Why are you talking about this? We're in 2021. Why are we going back to 2019? Look, my brother, you can never face today, certainly not tomorrow, without first revisiting yesterday. And that's why. So these elders, the ones who came to our event, one of whom served as the guest speaker, they participated in all of the Federation, annual convention activities in Georgia 2019. When I say all of the activities, they were part of the traditional hours activities on Friday, the sporting events on Saturday, but only to come back Sunday morning and said, our children, we don't think these elections will serve our community well. We need to postpone these elections and return to Georgia at once next year, which was 2020, to have to redo this election. When we asked why didn't you say this Friday, Saturday? They said they were still observing, they were analyzing. Some of us were called behind closed doors for 4 hours, if not more. I remember the election commissioners were getting furious. They were growing impatient as far as, wanting to conduct the election. But the old folks, now, mind you, some of the old folks, they saw, our old folks back in the day, they knew how to take care of themselves so well that, some of them are aging really well to the extent that you can't even tell, how old they are when you put some of them around us, because we all look so close in terms of appearance. So I think that's part of the reason why these old folks don't come across to many people as they should. But they are old, and they are proud to be old. They are aging with grace. So in their wisdom, when we ask questions, they told us, they said, look, we've done our analysis, we've gotten some information, and we don't believe that these elections will serve us. So it is our decision as the elders that you, our children, please respect us as you've always done, and pull these elections off, despite all the arrangements being made. Despite the commissioners being waiting outside the door. These very meeting rooms, we got commissioners waiting with ballot ready to conduct elections. We want to stop. Long story short, after they gave us their convincing reason, we listened, and we left the meeting rooms, we went to the general public, and the issue was put before them. They made the same case to the General Assembly, and the decision was upheld. It was voted upon and supported. It was upheld. We all supported it. So we came, and then because the Federation could not be left without a leadership, and now that elections were not going to take place, so then a council was constituted. A council of 3 was put together, comprising of, my brother and friend, Famoli Kroma, who was an aspirant then, a candidate, and the former president then, the outgoing president then, who was also my uncle, Mamadi Sese, and a lady I did not know, I had never met up to that until that first trip to Atlanta, Georgia, whom I came to know as Hawa Kroma Kone. Those 3. She was also an aspirant. So I think the elders, their mindset was that since these 3 people were the one running to be president for this institution, Let's put them together. They all have some ideas. I'm not sure if, after looking back now, in retrospect, I'm not sure if it was such a good idea. But, you know, at that time, when they put it before us, I thought it was good. I thought it made sense. And many people thought so too. The only problem I had with, with that council arrangement right there, and to today's date, something I didn't quite comprehend, was the inclusion of my Uncle Mamadi Sese as a council member. I didn't quite understand. And I asked this question. I said, but look, listen, you've been president for this federation for two solid years. If there was anything you could not, you wanted to do, you could have done it. If there's anything you were not able to do, I don't think you're going to be able to do it with power sharing. You have the power that's been distributed amongst you three. You alone have all that power for 2 years. There's nothing, you wanted to do that you couldn't do. If it was within your power. So I don't know why you're ready for me part of this council. It just doesn't make sense to me. But then, after a while, I came to understand that, it's like when you go somewhere, and you say something or do some things that's not right, that's not true, that's not accurate, that doesn't resonate well, that you yourself know it's not right. It becomes difficult for you to leave because you don't want to leave for fear that it may be prosecuted in your absence, verbally, morally, or otherwise. Huh? I know I used to say, how a grown man told me before, he said, when you sit down among people and you fat, you pass gas, whether intentionally or unintentionally, and you realize that people have discovered that you passed the gas, you fat it, you're not going to get it from there soon. Everybody will come and leave you there because you're afraid as soon as you get it to go, they'll start talking about you, right? So that's the only logical conclusion I could find as the reason why my uncle was included. Because prior to us going to Atlanta, Georgia, the board had exhausted an unaccounted $18,000 deficit associated with its administration. The board, in fairness, set up a separate committee made up of reputable, renowned accountants, headed by my brother Abraham Kromah in Houston, Texas. Papa in Milwaukee, and the rest of them. They audited and dated and went back and forth, and this $18,000 just could not disappear. And so I can understand if I'm being accused of that, and I can't find any way how to brush it off. If I have the chance to be part of any arrangement that could possibly question me on that, I would take the first opportunity at being part of that process so that no decision can be made behind me. It's like when you run an institution, a church or a mosque, where you want to be on the board because you don't want the board deciding what happened, so you want to be the board and the executive, you want to be the whole 9 years, you want to be part of every organ that exists within the institution. But anyway, I'm kind of digressing here, that's just, I don't want to digress too far. So anyway, that arrangement was put in place. The council of three. So we left Georgia and we came back to our respective states. The 2020 that was set aside for the next election, unfortunately, COVID came. No one predicted that, not even the US. Nobody. COVID came. And when COVID came, it affected almost every organization, every institution in the world. Is that fair to say now? Every institution in every corner of the world was affected by COVID. It was a global pandemic, global hazard. FELMAUSA was no exception. FELMAUSA was greatly affected too, just like all other organizations. On top of that, the reasons for which elections were canceled in Georgia 2019, those reasons, those issues still persist. Those issues were still there. They had not been dealt with. I think, honestly, in my opinions, the elders fell short of making follow-ups on some of the decisions that were made in Georgia. The issue of reconciliation, they did a great part, and a great part of that was achieved right in Georgia when the then 6th chapter, quote unquote, the Russians were permitted to come, to be seated, at the convention, and to have a representation on the board. I even got mad at Chairman Dollar that day as to how quickly he moved to ask those people for representation. I safe to say he was anxiously awaiting their return, but he did so in good spirit, in the interest of peace. He understands that this is one community. That's why I concluded my 2 minutes break with this lady saying, we need each other. This community will not do well if the least of all is, it's not taken care of, let alone the best. So Chairman Dollar did what he did. So we came, COVID hit us, and the issues of trying to amend the Constitution to remove the delegates voting system completely was not talked about, was not dealt with rather, even though it was part of the enrichment from Georgia. The issue of making constitutional amendment, as far as reviewing how the organization finances is, managed. In other words, when we left from Georgia, the elders didn't do anything further, to the best of my, correct me if I'm wrong, they didn't do anything further, and I didn't hear anything, so everything was left with the council. I think the elders kind of believed the council. They believe in the wage down of the people who were placed on the council. They thought that they were responsible, grown-up folks who could get together to get things done. Unfortunately, that was not the case. In no time, we heard about the infighting within the council. At first, it appeared that it was Sister Hawa Kroman and Brother Famoli Kroman on one side, or my uncle Mamadi Sise being on the other side. So they went back and forward, back and forward. So in the interest of time, just not to go into every little details. So shortly, we heard that the council has suspended Mamadi Sise from the elders suspended my uncle Mamadi Sise from the council. Who gave the elders the power to suspend a councilman? Who gave them the power? That's the question some of you have asked over the months. From where did they get the power to suspend a councilman? That was the question some people asked. And that's the same question that was raised when the elders this time around decided that, look, we told you, our children, last year to postpone the election in the interest of unity and out of respect for us, and you did. You listened to us. We promised you that we're going to go back to Georgia to have elections in 2020. Unfortunately, we will not be able to do that now because of COVID and because the issues that we had intended to address have not been addressed yet. To prove that those issues had not been addressed, the elders produced close to 20 complaint letters, 20 letters written by both sides of the people who were running to be president. I'm kind of skipping some here because I don't have the luxury of time. So when the elders said we'll not go back to Georgia 2020 to have the elections, because the issues for which we put the elections off in 2019 were still pretty much prevalent. They were still there, and also compounded by COVID-19. So they said there's no way we're going to have election. So when some of us asked to say, what do you mean the issues are still there? You wanted us united. We are now united. Our brothers are back. The 6th chapter is back. Everyone is on board. They say, oh no, not as you think. Here we have complaints from both sides. We got 10 letters of complaint from this team. We got 9 letters of complaint from this other side. Now, the question I asked to say, what gave the elders who gave the elders the power to suspend councilmen to say from the council? That question comes back to mind. So against what background were the campaigns directing their complaints to the elders? Why not the board? Why were they rating the complaint? Why were they rating the board, the elders? Why were they rating all of the complaints that they had, all of the letters that they wrote to complain each other? Why didn't they address those complaints to us at the board? I'm a board member. Why I don't recall us discussing any such, complaints. Other than hearing that the elders receive another complaint letter from team this, from team that. My point being, though FELMAUSA Constitution does not give any exclusive power to our elders, but by virtue of who we are as Mandingo people, as Muslim people, our culture empowers our elders to make decisions for us when we cannot make one for ourselves. Isn't that the case? They're not in the Constitution, but then why you wrote their letter? How were they able to suspend council? Because I'm saying this to offset the argument. When we have told people that, well, they canceled the election in Georgia 2019, some people have counter arguments to say, oh no, the General Assembly did. They only recommended the General Assembly, they voted to uphold their recommendation. Fine, I get that. That is accurate. But they took other decisions that no General Assembly voted upon, not even the board. They suspended a certain council member. Nobody questioned them. When the campaigns were ongoing, all the campaigns, the two campaigns, wrote them complaining each other from time to time. In fact, I keep hearing some people refer to it as Supreme Council, Supreme Elder Council. I don't want to go that far. I just want to stop to the Elder Council. I don't know where the Supreme come from, but anyway. But the point being, folks, the elders are were and still are well within their rights to make the decisions that they made. So when they said, folks, our children, once again, we are now going to have elections in Georgia because of COVID, because you have not united enough, because we got too many complaints, because the field is not level, because they were well within their right. And people on the left made the argument that, oh no, not this time, not again. You are not going to stop us. We are resolved. We are determined to do this our way. Now I have to wonder, the people who were making those decisions, you think if any of those people, fathers were involved, their biological fathers, uncles were involved with the elders, you think those people would have said those kind of things? My answer would be no. I bet you no, they wouldn't have. Now, if their uncles were not there, if your uncle was there, your father was there, your somebody big was part of this elder council, and other people disrespected them, knowing fully well that if their elders had been there, they would have. Then why do you work with people like that? Why? So the elders say election is canceled, and they say the folks on the left said no, it's not canceled. It will not be canceled, and it's not canceled. It's like when you listen to the Black Arabs, our brothers, most Islamic scholars, when they say, when God said that their war will come to an end, that, the fool will say, no, their war will not end. Their war is here. It was here, it's here, and it will be here. Almost sounded like that. But when you ask them as to why you honor the elders' request the first time, and this time you're trying to differ with them, why are you being disrespectful? Why are you disrespecting our elders? Your father equals, your uncle equals. Why are you trying to, humiliate our culture, our community. Why? Why? Listen to this. The most ridiculous, outrageous response came from these radical leftists. They came and said, oh, because it's too late. The elders should have spoken sooner. The elders should have told us earlier. In a way, I kind of bought that. So if you listen to some of my previous recording immediately following that, yeah, I agree. But you know what? I agree that the elders should have canceled the elections, everything earlier. I agree with that. But you know what else I agree with? I also agree that in 2019, when they canceled the election, on the day of the election, that they should have done so even more sooner. I thought it was super late in Georgia 2019. But I also thought that as our elders, I had no choice but to go with it, and I did. Many well-meaning, well-read, well-cultured, well-minded Mandingo people, Mandingo members of the Federation understood that it's not everything your elders say will meet your liking, but you obey it anyway, as long as it does not cause you any harm. You go with it for various reasons. You go with it because it could be your father telling you that. You go with it because you, the young men, will be elders pretty soon. Do you want to be disrespected when you become the elders tomorrow? Do you want to be disrespected the way you're disrespecting your elders today? Do you want to be disrespected? My answer would be no. And so I'm not in the position to disrespect my elders. No, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be part of that. So they said it was too late. I said, was it later than Georgia 2019? If you were told, please don't go to Georgia, there will be no elections due to COVID and due to the fact that we have not resolved our outstanding issues, you say no, it's late. Was it later? Was that later than the decision on election day in Georgia 2019? Was it? It wasn't. It wasn't late. In fact, in all honesty, these folks, their motives is far beyond that. It wasn't about it being late or soon. It doesn't matter. No matter, even if the elders had said months to that time, they still would have satisfied themselves. They would have. I said it here. I told people here, I said, look, what we saw in Minnesota, that rebellion of a situation we saw here was very, very likely possible at the FELMAUSA level. I said it here. I said the only restriction, the only thing that was holding the FELMAUSAs back was the way FELMAUSA electionary thing is crafted, the bureaucracy, the whole issue of delegate. Delegate must come from here. And that's the only reason. That's the only thing that delayed the folks. If FELMAUSA was an organization that hosts regular general elections, like we do in MMA and other chapter organizations, what you saw in Georgia, you would have seen that much sooner. But due to the whole system of delegate, blah blah blah, and so I came to think. I said maybe the whole delegate thing, the framers of our constitution, maybe they had a good idea as to why the whole delegate thing was necessary, because that's the only thing that restrained and restricted our brothers on the left up to their Georgia trip. They went there anyway, and they did what they did completely out of line. They had, again, yet another pageantry, much like what they had in Philadelphia last week, that I'm going to come to here shortly. Another pageantry, very colorful one. If you can record, a live broadcasting, thanks to Brother Kasibun Silai, who was my reporter on the scene. I live broadcasted that entire pageantry. Nothing like election. Now, somebody, you're probably wondering, but why are you bringing back these old stories? Why now? Why? Why this? Why that? My brother, see the cool lady. We're going to keep talking about these things. And more besides, I've traveled to Liberia a lot. So every time you have an event like what occurred in Philadelphia last week, I got my own following in Liberia. I got a lot of people reach out to me like, oh, what is going on? It's just, what is that? What is that? So I owe those people. I owe it to myself, and I owe it to them to come and explain to them that it was nothing like election. It wasn't an election. It will never be an election. It was what it was. It was a group of people, group of angry, radical, we members of the Federation who chose to go the route they went. Simple, period. Now, ever since then, the situation has been at a standstill. It is what it is, some will say. Before I came on this show today, like I always, every time I want to come on the show, I try to do a little bit of preparation for the show. That's why when I interviewed the boy from Kwadu Boni yesterday, but Amara scientist Kamara, I had to, I spent hours reading Kwadu Boni Constitution, their website, his own platform. You got to prepare yourself as a host to come before, to come on the show. So as part of my preparation for today's show, the first subject I interviewed a lot of, the first issue we addressed, I interviewed a lot of people on this FELMAUSA thing. The only thing I had to do today was to check with some people, I checked with some elders. I said, look, COVID is on the run. COVID is on the run. The temperature is improving. It's really nice out now. So what's the plan? Where are we? And they told me they are working behind the scene, and pretty soon we're going to hear from them. Okay, fine. So what about the council? We said the council, as far as they are concerned, is still 110% in tight, in check. Yeah, granted, some council members, a council member left because not some. The other one we know, that one got suspended before. Everybody knows that. So it was just two, and one of them who didn't want to be there left. So the only person, she who's holding this council in tight, we ought to be grateful to her. Isn't she a true public servant? Despite all said, despite all of the things, if you think about the responsibility that each and every one of us have to carry in this country, the burdens that we have to carry, somebody who would take on the work of three, that's supposed to be three persons, and just take it and run with it, that I'm going to do this for the benefit of my community, and she continued to do a good job at it. We cannot thank Sister Hawa Kroma Corner enough for being the kind of public servant she is. So the council is in tight. Hawa is in charge of the Federation. If you doubt me, you don't have to take my word for it. Go on Google, put in Federation of Liberian Mandingo Association in the USA. Go to FELMAUSA website. You'll find her there. Council must stay in charge. All of the legal documentation, the website, the Federation. When you hear organization, it's not just the Kumbaya, right? Any institution. When you hear institution, my brother, it's a documentation. Institution without documentation is nothing. Agitation, right? If you want to find rhyming words. So, as far as the elders are concerned, and as far as some of us who believe in the Constitution, who believe in our elders, as far as we are concerned, FELMAUSA is in tight. Now, a little bit later here, I will kind of deviate a little bit. Just hear me out. Let's go. FELMAUSA is in tight under the able leadership of our excellencies, Madam Hawa Kroma Corner, put in place by our elders, put in place by the General Assembly, because whatever decisions that were made in Georgia 2019, all the recommendations that the elders made, it was sanctioned by the General Assembly, and that's why she's there. Madam Kroma is in charge. And by that, because, and as a result, rather, she has been working hard to do the people's work, including but not limited to all of the aid that she has, worked on and provided to our people back home, some of which you are all witnesses to, you can all attest to. You all saw how appointed Ambassador Bill Clinton giving up, donation upon donation in the name of the Federation. Thanks to Madam Howard Corner administration. And then, it's safe to say, the donations were not enough. Just before I traveled, for the very first time, I had the privilege of accepting her appointment as the ambassador, awareness ambassador, FELMAUSA awareness ambassador. Mind you, I have been offered several positions in FELMAUSA by many different administrations. Sekou Kene appointed me to many different positions. I declined them all. I wanted to take it, but my brother Usman Toure in New York at the time will call me to say, Kafuma, please don't take it. I said, why? Why you don't want me to serve? He said, when you take it, you compromise the integrity of your show. We love LDF, Usman used to tell me. LDF is our last hope. When you take any position in any administration, then you compromise the integrity of your show. It made sense to me. I declined and declined and declined. But this time around, when Madam Howard Corner reached out to me, I tried to decline too. But she made sense to me. She spoke to the issue in a way that I could relate to. So I took it. And as per my job description, when I went to Liberia as awareness ambassador, oh boy, did I create awareness. I did. I made 3 appearances on 3 different networks, radio stations, local stations. If you didn't see that, I know you saw Front Page Africa. It's still on Front Page. I also made sure that Madam Howard Corner was published in Front Page Africa, FELMAUSA leader. I took a message there. It's still there. Front Page Africa, interested, don't delete their stories easily. So if you are online right now, by all means, go to Front Page Africa, type in FELMAUSA. When you type in FELMAUSA, a few things will come up. One, the $21,000 you wasted on the Fula people in Liberia, you wasted that money. You will see that story. Front Page didn't carry that, but Hot Pepper carried that. But you'll see somebody else, and then you'll see Howard Cromar's story that I published when I was in Liberia recently, that through Front Page Africa. So I did my job as the awareness ambassador. I created as much awareness as the councilwoman and the council wanted me to. As if that wasn't enough, the councilwoman then instructed me that she wanted me to make sure that our people were looked after, were provided some aid in terms of donation before I left Liberia. I did this the day before my departure. Mashallah. Mashallah. I left Liberia Sunday. On a Saturday, we made an arrangement and we brought, was it 150 bags of rice? We brought several bags of rice. You want me to tell you more about that? You know it. You saw the video. You saw the banner? I don't need to waste your time on that. You saw that. So I did that at her directives. So thank you, Madam Councilwoman, for giving me the pleasure to serve my community. And thank you for all that you've done and continue to do. May Allah Almighty reward you. And thank you to Bill Clinton for all that you've done at her directive as well. So this brings me now to the event in Philadelphia. Philadelphia last week rather, was a place of entertainment. It was a place to be. But here's the interesting thing. Philadelphia has always been a place to be. Yeah. When it comes to entertainment, Philadelphia has always been the place to be, regardless of what you want to do. Whether it's baby naming ceremony, whether it's wedding, whether it's just pure pageantry, like our folks had last week, you name it, is the place to be. Let me let you in on a little secret about FELMAUSA. I'm inclined to believe that somehow, some way, Minnesota could have very well been named as the headquarters of FELMAUSA. You know why? Because it is my understanding when it comes to FELMAUSA, for the formation of this current FELMAUSA, because I understand some people attempted before but didn't succeed. But when it comes to the current FELMAUSA, it is my understanding that nobody worked harder to form this current FELMAUSA more than my friend and brother Ishmael Komara and his cousin Ibrahim Belete, my former schoolmate and good friend who used to live in Minnesota here, now lives in Philadelphia, and some other folks here. What am I saying? I'm simply saying that the founding fathers of the current FELMAUSA were primarily Minnesotans. But you know why Philadelphia was chosen instead to be the headquarters of FELMAUSA and not Minnesota? The answer is obvious. You know this, right? Because Philadelphia is where you have the greater number of Mandingo people. The overwhelming majority of Mandingo people lives in Philadelphia. The overwhelming majority of probably West African immigrants, Liberian immigrants lives in Philadelphia. It's no coincidence they call Philadelphia Quenya, right? Quenya in America. So the founding fathers were thoughtful. They thought if this is going to be about Mandingo people, if this is going to be about organizing and bringing our people together, there's no better place than Philadelphia where the majority live. So the minority, the few of us scattered around the U.S. can make our way to go join the majority. We don't expect the majority to come to us. We want to go to them. That's how Philadelphia was considered preferred name as the head of the federation, as the seat, the headquarters of the federation. And by extension, that's why also every time FELMAUSA has a convention or any activity for that matter, when no chapter wants it, when there's no chapter to host it, it always falls back on Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Lima. It does. Because that is the one place, any kind of party you have, there's not going to be shortage of attendees. People will come. Party will ball. Except that this last week party didn't ball as expected, which I'm trying to make my way to. But Philadelphia, as you know, is our place. It's our home away from home. It's our headquarters here in the U.S. Every one of us living in other parts of America have got relatives in Philadelphia. I got my brother there. I got brother Ayuba Kroma there. I got several good friends there. I don't want to name all of them. I don't want to subject them to public ridicule because sooner or later, you're going to watch another show causing me. So let me stop naming, my folks so no one include them. So let it be limited to me, right? But I got lots of families in Philadelphia, and so do you. Because that's our headquarters. So when people organize events or event, in last week's case, in the name of whatever they want, and bet that this event will be whatever they predicted would have been, and the hall is what it was, that's no surprise. There's no surprises there. I bet you organize another party tonight, next week it will be just as packed, if not more packed, if not more, crowded than what you saw last week. And that's how it's going to continue to be for the rest of summer. Why you think every tribal organization, rather take their conventions to Philadelphia, whether it's the faculty reunion that is selected, that is scheduled for Philadelphia, or the Donfosa, right? I saw Donfosa flyer that is also slated for Philadelphia, the Camara, they go on and on and on. Philadelphia. So make no mistakes. So a crowd of well enthusiastic people coming together to to relieve some stress from their bodies cannot be misinterpreted as being, for what it has been believed to be by some. No, it's not. What's more important is that the councilwoman has told me straight up that she has no knowledge of the Philadelphia pageantry as a FELMAUSA sanctioned event. that took place in Philadelphia last week. We are all aware. We all saw the flyers. It happens. It will happen again. I'm told some states, chapters are preparing to do, it's summertime, folks. When I was president for the Minnesota Mandingo Association, despite all of the things, I did a lot of great things. My friend and brother Akim is on the line, will bear me out. Some good people here. To today's date, I still remain. I'm on record for being the UNE chapter president who invested in our children, school supplies, backpack and books, pens and books, back to school supplies, and we give it to children in regard with full regard to their tribes or nationality. We give it to all kids. I'm also the one who acquired 501c3 for MMA, right? No, it's not used, but I acquired that. But on top of all of that, I still managed to bring 2 artists. I brought Mohamed Diaby to this time to entertain our ladies, our women. And I brought Sekuba Kandia Kuyate to this town. So I get it. I understand. Our people need to be entertained. We love entertainment. It's part of us. It's part of our culture. It's part of humanity. You can't just work. You have got to make some time for fun. So there's absolutely nothing wrong. I wish I could have attended. I wish I had the time to be in Philadelphia last week. I would have, honestly. I have no quarrel. I have no beef with the event itself, except the nomenclature, what it's being coined to be. Well, the councilwoman wants me to let you know that she did not sanction the Philadelphia event as a FELMAUSA event. No wonder why, up to date, there hasn't been any financial record here. No, there probably wouldn't be, because mind you, that same side, they seem leftist, they seem radical left, doing days and weeks leading up to the Atlanta trip last year before it was canceled, when they almost embarked on the nation tour campaign start. So our sources tell us that they raised a significant amount of money. An insider told me that they raised $22,000, except that there was no financial report, no public financial report. Now they don't have to report to me. I'm not sitting expecting financial report. But did you see it? Saying you are a part of it. Did they provide you any private or public document bearing out what they raised, what they said they raised? Even more important, did you see any expenditure documentation as to how it was spent, as to how your hard-earned dollars that you gave in donation contributed one way or the other? Did they give you any documentation to show you how it was spent? No. And you wouldn't see one from this one either. Those are also simple indications that it wasn't a FELMAUSA event. No, it wasn't. Now everyone knows, whether you like Hawa Kroma Kone or not, everyone knows that before we got to where we are, nobody, and I mean nobody, everybody who served on the board, lastly, will tell you no one was more dedicated, no one was more transparent, no one provided and produced FELMAUSA financial statement to the board in a more timely manner than Hawa Kroma Kone herself. Nobody. The woman is as transparent as she can be. And when you follow people, when you follow good leaders, you tend to learn from them. Huh? So why you think when I did that fundraising at the board level the last time, when it came time to transfer that money to FELMAUSA, to the council, to the president of the councilwoman, why you think the transparency was beyond expectation, imagination? We had a show about it. We announced it. Thankfully, while on the show, the amount went up. We promised to deposit the money. We did so, and we posted the deposit slip. You saw that. When the last time you've seen a transparency of that nature? When the last time? Vis-a-vis these community organizations. Now, in fact, shortly following that, we heard there was a similar and parallel, you know, or similar, same or similar fundraising by the leftists. They did. Shamefully, as we learned, they couldn't raise more than what was turned over, except by $50. Even more shamefully so, it was reported to us by some of their. This is the thing, right? There are some. I don't know, how can you be in something, then you leak information about that thing? You will not believe how many people call me from the left with informations and worry about their names. No, trust me, your name, your secrets are safe with me. I won't call your names. But somebody call and say, "Oh, Mr. Kroma, you know the money you turned over to Howard Kroma at that time, and with their fundraising, that most of the fundraising, most of the money, the amounts pledges you saw on Facebook, they were just fake." People were called to say, "Jet pledge. Well, nobody gonna see it. We're not gonna tell anybody. Just pledge." To today's date, I challenge them. I bet anybody to produce a voided check, you know, a carbon copy, whatever it was, a document to prove that money was actually collected. It wasn't collected. Some was collected. Don't get me wrong. A few dollars was collected. Worst case, some people truly pledged, but they didn't even make good on their pledges. They didn't pay. You have a situation where people having events, they inviting parents and marraines, they're taking their own money to get to the parents and marraines to get back to them. How can we run community organization on fake life like that? Fake lives. How do you do that? Who are you fooling? And most importantly, what do you hope to achieve by running a well thoughtful, meaningful community organization? Organizations that were put together for very good reasons. You're going to run those on fake social media, activities like that? I'm baffled. I don't know what came over us. Seriously, I don't. I do not understand. Now we know at the party last week, it probably would have been a good party, a better party. I mean, like to borrow the words of one of the insider, one of the young men who I'm told is a diehard associate of the how you call it, of the left, to borrow his own word, that they need to do better next time. They can certainly do better next time. I wish I could find this, but I know you all saw it. They need to do better. And by the way, they did better, because what's the yardstick for doing better? It was all about entertainment. I'm very sure, there's no doubt in my mind that those who went there have fun. They have fun. I keep reading, I keep following different posting, different pictures on Brother Akim's Mandingo Women Rocks, page. I keep finding, looking at the beauty that was displayed by some of our sisters and our brothers as well. Now, when we see life, we are all opinionated. We all have opinions on different subjects, different walks of life, regardless of how you looked at it. Your opinion, certainly not mine. Mine is not yours. And it doesn't have to be. I can disagree with your opinion and still respect you respect your opinion. If you thought that the event last night, why am I keep saying last night? If you thought that the event last week in Philadelphia was the greatest you ever seen, well, that's good for you. I'm afraid you haven't seen a good event yet. But you can say, you can say so based on some variables, certain variables. If you say, for instance, that the event was so good that it was the only event, it was so good that even religious leaders, imams, had the audacity to transpose themselves to the event. Even while imams within the within the geographical locality of the events knew better than being there. If that's your yardstick for saying it was a great event, kudos to you. We can say that. That's one way of looking at it. Oh, this has got to be good. That you now see, even the imams were here. Which imams were there? You mean the imams that are chastising people every day for parties, for going to party, for jelly, even for watching, Nigerian movies? I don't know. But look, there are many ways you can analyze one event. If you want to use that as a yardstick, as a measurement to say this was a great event because XYZ came, more power onto you. Go ahead and say that. But when you so doing though, don't forget to also note that there were several other imams, religious leaders there who didn't come around there. Not that they had any beef with it, not that they had any beef with their children, their sons and daughters, nieces and nephews, but rather that they knew that was not a place for them to go. But then again, it comes down to the way we see things. It comes down to the way we analyze things. It comes down to our hopes and aspiration. What is it? What is it we want to achieve? How do we perceive ourselves? But lastly, though, I challenge you to show that the proof that the event was so great through your financial record. And why does it, by the way, how long does it take to prepare a simple financial report for an event, for a party? I don't think anybody credited. There were no loans lent, giving anybody. There was a cover charge. There were donations made. There were pledges made. Now, I understand, like I said earlier, there are some people who are giving money to go and present it, and then it's taken back and put back to wherever it was taken. And I understand things like that will confuse the accountants, any accountants, anywhere in the world, to balance that kind of book. Because in the public eyes, 10,000, 15,000 was made. But realistically, if 5,000 of that 10,000 was given to some of the people to go present it, to make themselves look good, on the stage, on camera, in the video, and the money is not there, I can see the difficulties involved in trying to publish that. Because then where will you get the actual money from to put it there, to replace it, right? I can see those difficulties. And I wish that the crowd was not driving out of the hall, I wish our sisters, our brothers and sisters had more time to talk, more time to party. A party that they were looking forward to, that they had gone to do, to dance and have fun, real fun. I wish they did. I wish, they didn't exceed, their, arranged time and be asked to leave the hall. I wish that wasn't the case. But I wish. I have to tell you this. Somebody kept my line busy a few hours earlier today when they asked me, I saw your show title, and then in fact yesterday, I heard you on the show saying that the FELMAUSA, that the program in Philadelphia was not a FELMAUSA sanctioned program. Why you want to bring this issue back alive? And then why do you think it wasn't? It was, and so after we debated with it, after I debated with this brother for in a lengthy period of time, he and I agreed to say, you know what? I don't think the elders should give themselves so much headache. They can do one or two things. If the folks in Philadelphia last week, if the folks that were in Atlanta last year and the same folks I believe in Philadelphia last week, if they are so bang on insisting that this is FELMAUSA, that they are FELMAUSA, that can also be done. You saw Ulimo K, Ulimo J. If they want to be, if it's a faction of FELMAUSA, a breakaway of FELMAUSA, we can treat them as such and try to find every avenue, every remedy, to how we can, return them to the Federation. There are several breakaways, factions around the world. It wouldn't be the first time. But I'll tell you this, if you have any doubt that the FELMAUSA that Madam Hawa Nkrumah Corner presides over is a legitimate FELMAUSA, not only should you check the website, but also look at the fact that why this group, this radical lefty group, continued to fight so hard to acquire documentation. There was attempts made in trying to hijack FELMAUSA website, right? You aware of that? Is this news to you? There were attempts made. Serious attempts were made to take FELMAUSA, hijack FELMAUSA, website. They failed. I think the Russians lost some of their skills. They could not do that. And then they tried to, dive into the organization, file 160, on and on and on. All of the relevant documents for the organization that an organization would need to work, as far as I know, to the best of my knowledge, are still well within Madam Corner's possession, because she's still the legitimate head of this federation. Like it or not, that's just the way it is. That is the way it is. And so the sooner you realize that, the better, my friend, it shall be for all of us. So again, we have exhausted our second hours. Wow, hour goes by so quick. So let me now jump into these quick announcements, and then we'll call it a night here. So once again, congratulations to Madam Hawa Nkrumah Corner, Hawa K. Corner, the council lady. On behalf of the council, on behalf of FELMAUSA and FELMAUSANs, she received a donation of 45 pallets. I'm not talking about 45 bags. The pallets, when you go to the store, that pallets where they can stock things on. Now, I'm not sure how many were stocked on each pallet, but this is pre-made Uncle Ben rice. I'm showing this on my phone. The bikes is here. So there you go. This is a better picture of a parlor here. 45 of these in Uncle Ben pre-made rice that she just received. Oh, there you go. An even better picture that she just received yesterday to be sent to Liberia to help our people. And this happened. This is good news, folks, because this is happening at a time when we just had a meeting a few days ago with a councilwoman in preparation for the project that she wants to embark on for the Tobaski prayer. The assistance, the donation, the things, the help that she wants to render. The Federation will be rendering to our people. For this Tobaski prayer. So these are some of the stuff, donation, if you know what I mean. So she just received those. That's one announcement I wanted to make. Kudos to her and kudos to the council. And also, I like to inform. I want to let you know that next week I have two high-profile guests coming on the show. One is Martin Colley. I don't know how many of you know Martin Colley. Martin Colley is one of the biggest young radicals in the Liberian politics. He's the former president of the Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia, a suspended student from the University of Liberia, and also he's currently on exile. He had to escape from Liberia. He's in a different foreign country. He told me not to mention his his current country because he doesn't want to be, he doesn't want to get in any further trouble. So he will be on our show this coming Saturday. I think that will be the 10th of July, 3 p.m. Martin Colley will be with us. We'll discuss Liberian politics. I'll kind of narrow the topic down as the day nears. I will post like I always do. I will schedule the show and I will kind of narrow the topic that we'll be talking about. That's one announcement. On Sunday, the next day, you see this sister right here. This sister, I'm told she has a Mandingo lineage. But her name is Victoria Tolo something. I got to work on the name. She wants to be Montserrat County's next senator. I don't know how that's possible. And don't worry, she's not trying to replace, she's not trying to replace Darius DeLong. No. I think she's trying to replace Sai, something like that. Whoever is up for re-election 2023. That's who she's trying to replace. So she will be our guest on Sunday, July 11, at the same time, 3 p.m. She'll be joining the show from Liberia. So 2 guests, 2 high-profile guests next weekend. You just can't afford to miss it. We invite you to join us next weekend, inshallah. We will have those 2 active young Liberian politicians on our platform discussing Liberia. As a matter of fact, when I asked this lady what she wants us to talk about, she wants us to talk about the COVID-19, the government poll response to COVID-19 situation in Liberia. We'll be talking about the $15,000 that each lawmakers received in Liberia recently, how that should have been handled, or how is it being handled. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about 2023 and many other stuff. So this lady and I will talk about that. I also want to talk to you about, there's a group in Philadelphia. What's the group name? United Sisters. They sent this thing to me and they've been calling me. I told you, right? Philadelphia. There you go. Philadelphia again, another party. So this sister Dole, Sister Mawata Dole, sent this thing to me and sent her voice recording to me that she really, really want me to help promote their event on the show. This is the date right there, folks. August 1st, 2001. They have this event. This big event they have is called, Big Party. That's how they call it. So they're going to have a cookout. That's why this one is here. They'll have a cookout, and then they'll have the party. Philadelphia, folks, August 1st, 2001. Please get your dancing shoes and your cookout outfit ready. You don't want to miss this event. I'm going to be there. They said they'll get me a ticket to go. I'll go to Philadelphia, except somebody told me not to go to Philadelphia. I say, if you want to come to Philadelphia, then don't have today's show. I say, what? Philadelphia, is it part of these United States of America? So I'm going to be in Philadelphia August 1st, folks. If you got your bazooka, get it ready. You got your AK, get it ready. But most importantly, though, I want to encourage you to mark your calendar for August 1st, 2021 for these wonderful Sisters events. They are going to, this Philadelphia will be on fire. It's not going to be easy. See all these beautiful ladies, man? All you single men, you can't afford to miss this event. You got to go here. If married men like us will be going there, then I don't know about you, single men. You got to be to this event. Please get your dancing shoes ready or get a new one. And get ready to eat meat, plenty of meat for the cookout. Now, last but not the least, this is my own announcement here. Oh boy. The leadership of the Minnesota Mandingo Association, MMA. The leadership of the Minnesota Mandingo Association, MMA. The organization, the association that I'm so proud of. Both as a founding member. Sometimes I want to call myself founding father. I think Ishmael, there, all the guys were reason with me considering that the first meeting was in my living room on 3rd Avenue, South Minneapolis, before we took it to North Minneapolis, to my Mercy compound. As a founding father and the first duly elected vice president of MMA, as a former member of the Constitutional Committee, and as a former president of MMA, I'm so proud of this institution. And that's why I'm so excited that all the activities that are now going to Philadelphia alone, President Soleimani Diabaté said no. The president said no. We can't take all this to Philly. Our people here need to have fun too. So Minnesota also has a barbecue coming up. MMA under the able leadership of President Soleimani Diabaté, my own president, and his vice president, Honorable Ahmed Kone, the best VP anybody can ask for. The two are steering the affairs of our community to greater height, right? So they want me to inform you. I also want to inform you in my own name as well as in their name that on July 25th, is that what it is? July 25th at 9 p.m. Is it 9 p.m.? No. What is it? What is 9:21? Time 21. I don't get that. 3 p.m. I don't know what it's 21 for. Anyway. So July 25th at 3 p.m., the Minnesota Mandingo Association, MMA for short, we have MMA Eat Barbecue. We have a barbecue. I think it'll be the first. I told you there are a few things here. Coronavirus is on the run. COVID is speeding out of the U.S. They're running like nobody business. They're like somebody chasing them. COVID is running out. And the people are running out back to their normal lives, normal activities. So as a result, this is the first outdoor social event now that it is safe. Now that the governor of Minnesota has told us that over 70% of Minnesotans have been vaccinated, and so therefore it is okay for us to associate again. So in view and in keeping with that, President Soleimani Diabaté, along with his VP Ahmed Kone, with all the other staff, have organized a barbecue for the people of Minnesota. Venue, I love this venue. Trust me, this is the venue where I don't have to drive. I can just walk there. I'll probably be the last one to the venue. Let me tell you, President, let me tell you, people, this day I'm not eating to my house. I'm not drinking, I'm not eating. Because I'm going to be the first one here and I'll be the very last one to leave here. Because right behind my house, folks, it will be at a Firehouse Park. Firehouse Park, and the address is 6535 North, 6535 North Bryan Avenue, Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, 55430. Let me repeat that. Minnesota Eat Barbecue, first barbecue ever by the Minnesota Mandingo Association since COVID, will be here on July 25th at the precise hour of 3 p.m. It will commence, and it will be at 6535 North Bryan Avenue, Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, 55430. If you have any question about this barbecue, any question at all, don't call me. Don't hit the messenger. Don't call me. If you got questions, there are numbers here that you should call. Please call our Honorable VP, Ahmed Kone, with the number 612-245-5373. Let me repeat the number. If you got any question, comment, or concern about the barbecue, please call Vice President Honorable Ahmed Kone at 612-245-5373. Or if you can't reach him, or you rather not talk to the VP, then call the chair lady, Honorable Makoula Belete. Call Makoula Belete, the chair lady, at the number 763-267-2064. Let me repeat that, 763-267-2064. Those are the contact numbers for the upcoming barbecue. And when we reach there, I think I've exhausted all of my time. 15 minutes overtime. That's all I had to share with you today. Hope you were not offended. If you were, please take the offense out of it and keep the rest. I make no apologies for the positions that I assume. So no, I'm not going to apologize now and not later. So that is the show for today. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, and good evening. Let's all have a wonderful, happy July 4th Independence Day. And let's find a way to work it out. Let's do. Inshallah. We need each other. We are not better on.
We're forgetting that we need each other. We're forgetting that we need to look out for each other.
That's what I wanted to say. Okay, folks. So good night. Thank you. Thank you and thank you. So here we go.
Justice has ordered the Liberian government to reinstate former Supreme Court Justice Kabina Gane and pay him $200,000.
Okay, bye now. I'm ending the show. Thank you.
What the court calls moral prejudice suffered in the violation of his rights. Associate Justice Jane was impeached in March 2019 for granting a writ of prohibition petition.
Bye now.